What is going on, Penny boys and gals? What's going on, stock traders? And welcome to another Trading Psychology live stream. We do this every Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern in the Discord. So if you haven't already checked it out, definitely be sure to check out the Discord. This stream is free every single week. We do Trading Psychology, followed by a Rosebud Thorn exercise with OG Nikki. She is the best trading psychology major, also a trader as well. Or sorry, a psychology major. Unfortunately, they don't have trading psychology in college yet, but yeah, psychology major, and also obviously has been trading for a while now too, and so she's gonna be leading the Rosebud Thorn session. I actually just dropped the link to that earlier in the chat. But yeah, let's get right into it. This is week 9. We'll be talking about handling losses. And before we get into today's class, I'm just curious for those of you who are in the chat. And you can just drop this in the chat, in the free live stream chat. What has been, if you're comfortable sharing, what has been your biggest loss so far as a trader? Whether it's a stock trader, crypto trader, Forex, futures, commodities, whatever it might be. If you're comfortable, once again, let us know in the chat. It could be one trade, a bad week, or even just a bad month or year. I'm just curious what that looks like for you. What did that feel like? What resonated from that? Like, what do you remember from that big loss? Biggest loss was 6K COVID Thanksgiving. It's so funny that not funny. It's actually terrible, but mine too was actually. I think it was right before Christmas. So I feel like a lot of the people I talk to, it's always during the holiday season for some reason. Maybe it's this psychology thing where we're feeling, I don't know, extra happy or whatever. Or maybe maybe a little bit overconfident or whatever it is, or optimistic, and maybe that's what it is. But I've noticed that a lot of people tend to blow their accounts during the holiday season. So that's interesting that you put that out there. Unless you bet duck once. Yeah, that's true. Yoda bomb. 14K in 2021. Lots of small losses from the totem market. Was that 2021? Was that crypto or was that stocks to CAC? My biggest loss was in the NFT market. Actually, no. Yeah. The closest stocks is a close second for me though. So today we're gonna be talking about just the challenging, but of course crucial topic of handling losses in trading. Say me or I or whatever in the chat if you had to deal with a big loss in your trading journey. I know I personally have. I'll put me in there. It doesn't make you a bad trader. Even all the best traders have had a huge loss or a bunch of losses or whatever it may be in the past. It happens to pretty much everyone. So if it happens, you do not be discouraged, even if it hasn't happened yet. It's going to, and don't be discouraged. Don't let it make you quit. What separates traders who find long-term profitability and consistency, like Pookie's Revenge and Swinging Bull, Mr. Softlock Profit, people who've been doing this for a while and are still consistent doing it every single year in and year out. Those kind of people and those who end up quitting before they get there. What separates those is how they deal with and handle those losses. It's not really even the wins. It's really just how they manage those losses, how they learn from them, and don't keep making that mistakes or let it affect your next trade or the next couple trades. So I posted an image in our Trading Psychology lesson of the day channel, and since we are live now, I'll make sure to post it again. So those of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube, you can also see it because I do have the Discord chat sharing in the screen. You can see on this graphic here, has all the books from theory, from practice, from mistakes. This is from our Trading Psychology lesson of the day channel. In the image, you can see that we learn a decent amount from theory, a little bit more from practice, but the mistakes is what we learn the most from. And in the long term, if handled correctly, those mistakes and what you learned from them, the same mistakes that at the time might have made it feel like it was the end of the world, but in the long run, if you let yourself get there, get to the long run, which means don't quit, those mistakes over time will end up being nothing more than just crucial stepping stones and learning moments that you needed in order to be successful in the market. So you look back at those moments and you've probably seen even Pookie's Revenge, or I have a whole bunch of friends who make content about trading, whatever, and they all had that, that, and they're successful now, and they've been doing it for a while, but they all had that one story. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it was one of my buddies during Christmas. He ran up his crypto account up to like, I think it was like $180,000 and lost it all like leverage trading in like 2 days or something like that. Everyone has that story. And so, right, at the moment, this is for anyone who's been through that, through that big loss recently, might still kind of feel like the end of the world. But if you let yourself get to the point where you've been trading for a while, over time it will just it'll be a stepping stone. It'll just, be a memory and something that you learned from. It takes, and that's once again what separates people like Pookies and Swinging Bull and all of them from the people who quit over the past 3 years. Is they stuck in the market and they didn't quit, and they found their groove, and it takes time. It takes a lot of mistakes for some traders before they find their stride in the market. Those mistakes might happen over a few months or even a few years. So if you don't understand trading in the first year, you're not, making as much as you were maybe hoping to, that's okay. Think about jobs in general. It takes 4 years of college to get a degree so you can go get a job. So when it comes to trading, it does take time, not only just, the theory, from a theory, which is, the education, the Penny Boys University courses, the coaching sections and all that kind of stuff. It's not just that, it's also the practice, which is just time in the market, and you can't fast forward time. It's going to take time. It's going to take a little bit of time. And then of course the mistakes, and then how you learn from them. And it might take a year, 2 years, 3 years for some people, but it's going to be worth it in the end if you let yourself get there, just like with with college, or whenever any kind of for those of you who've done like fitness, like diets or fitness plans or whatever, it's going to be worth it. It just takes a little bit of time. It's not going to happen overnight. That's why we have speaking of time, the Rags to Riches series that focuses on portfolio management, that's available for free. That's why we have the 50 classes, the free classes that go over the basics of trading in our Trading 101 series, and a free 22 class new traders course in Trading 201, which I don't see there's too many new members here, but I still want to tag this in the chat so people who don't already know, maybe if you're a free member, I want you to be able to take advantage of what we have here, because this is all free material. And there's a reason why we have this all for free, and there's a reason why we have a focus on risk management and trading psychology in these classes and just in the Discord in general. It's because we, Penny Boys, the people who work here, we want you to succeed in the long run. And the way to do that is to spend time in the market. The way to do that is to practice, and honestly, is to make mistakes. It's the traders who aren't told to start off paper trading or start off with smaller accounts or smaller amounts of money, comparatively to what they have. Because everyone, a small account for one person can be different for another. But it's the people who aren't told about paper trading or small, starting off small. Hold on one second. I just got signed out of something here. Okay, hold on one second. I need to double check something here. For some reason, my internet just went out on my computer. So verify it's me. Okay. Sorry, my Gmail looks like reset, and now it's not letting me look at the StreamYard. So I'll make sure we're still recording here. And can you all hear me in the chat still?
I can, yes.
All right, perfect, good. So my internet just reset for a second here. I just want to make sure that I'm still recording, because this is some good stuff that we want to make sure that everyone has access to. Oh, Chag, I like you dropping the friendship in here. That's what's up. All right, now it looks like we are still good. Okay. So basically, yes, quack quack. So basically, the way to do what we were talking about earlier, succeeding in the long run, like we were saying before, is to spend time in the market. The way to do that is to practice, and once again, to make mistakes. And once again, it's the traders who are not told about that, not told about paper trading or starting off small with money that they can't afford, or with money that they can afford to lose. People who aren't taught about that and aren't taught to practice risk management, they're the ones that end up blowing their accounts to zero right off the bat, within the first 3 months to a year of trading. And then they don't have any money left to trade, and they quit. And we don't want that for you. That happens to a lot of people, and probably already almost happened to a lot of you, honestly. And that's why we preach risk management. That's why we have all these free courses, because we want people to be able to spend time in the market without losing their whole portfolio and all their money, and not being able to do anything else in the market, and learn from mistakes. You can't learn from your mistakes if you get no more money afterwards. You can only learn from your mistakes if you can continue to trade and actually build off of what you learn from. It's, that's why we focus on the risk management, the free courses, the the rags to riches, so that you can stay in the market, you can spend time in the market. You don't even have to pay a dime to take action, to do the rags to riches, to take all these free courses that we have, and you can still spend time in the market and get that experience that is needed. Because once again, it's not an overnight thing. If you treat the market like a casino, it's going to act like a casino. I know BTCJ says that all the time. For those of you who are here because you want to treat the market like a casino and have fun, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to repeat that. There is nothing wrong with treating the market like a casino if that's what you want to do. As long as you're aware of what you're doing, just like there's nothing wrong with someone going to a casino in real life and enjoying themselves. The problem is when people walk into that casino and risk their mortgage to try to win enough to buy a Lambo on the slots. The problem is when they think that it's a guaranteed way to make money because they once saw someone else sitting 2 machines down from them hit a jackpot. So I worked in casino for 3 years in Nevada. I was able to see how much money people spend versus how much they made on the slot machines and just in general in the casino. And sure, there were some people that hit a jackpot here and there and walked away with that money, but the majority of people that usually hit that jackpot, they usually end up putting it back in the machines trying to hit another one. And the majority of people in general lost more than they won. But once again, as long as it's with money they're okay losing, then there's nothing wrong with that. People spend money on booze, fancy clothes, cars. If they have money to spend, then there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when someone who can't afford rent goes out and buys a fancy car, wardrobe, or goes out drinking on a bender with their rent money and they spend all their rent money for the month. Just like if someone has money to throw in the market and they want to have fun with it, then there's nothing wrong with diving right into trading or YOLOing into meme coins or earning plays or day trading options or whatever. If you're in the market because you want to have fun because it's a side hobby or a side gig, just like people spend money on their side hobbies and their whatever their side gigs or whatever. There's just things that they want to do for fun. People spend money for fun. If you're in the market for fun, then that's okay. And people, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you can't do that. That's not the case. You can't do that if your goal in the market is to be here for the long term and to develop a portfolio that's going to make money over time. That's different. You can't do both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But if you want to just have fun with it, you want to trade with money that you're okay losing, then go for it. There's really nothing wrong with that. But that's for people who have the money where they're okay losing it, and those people typically already have dividends and this, that, whatever. And they're just trading just to have fun. Once again, nothing wrong with that. Or like the dude said, you can do both. And that's what I personally do. I have a YOLO account that has money that I'm okay with losing. It's not that I'm a millionaire or whatever. I can put a little bit of money aside to like, hey, instead of going out drinking, I'll put money here. Or as they say, instead of getting that Starbucks, I'll throw it into the market or whatever. Money that you're okay losing, just like you're okay, throwing money away for Starbucks or whatever it is that, we do for fun. But I'm not going to use my rent money to do that. That's Starbucks money or whatever. If your goal is to have fun with it, then have fun with it. It being trading. We have top options. He's one of our premium alerters, in our premium alert channels where he's one of our out of house analysts. He posts his plays there, and a lot of those are mostly YOLO options, day trades, and crypto leverage trades, and even some sport betting ideas. So if that's what you're looking for, we aren't going to stop you, but we do have a big old disclaimer in that channel, even that this type of trading isn't for new traders, and it isn't for people trading with money that they can't afford to lose and aren't okay with losing it quickly, because that's possibly what can happen. Just like, if you're not okay with falling off a bike, you probably shouldn't go mountain biking. If you're not okay falling off of your skis, you probably shouldn't go down a black diamond unless you're really good. But even so, if you don't want to fall, you probably shouldn't do that. It's the same. This is risk management, and some people have more risk tolerance than others. Some people are on there just to have fun. Lost internet connection. Just checking the chats really quick. So as we can see that picture, mistakes do happen, losses do happen, and it's how we learn and how we grow as traders if we can handle them correctly, which is going to be the focus of this class. So tonight we're going over coping with losses and drawdowns, learning from mistakes and setbacks, and the dangers of revenge trading and emotional trading. Starting with coping with losses and drawdowns. So as we all know, experiencing losses is an inevitable part of trading. It happens to everybody. It happens to me, happened to Duco, Stickman, Tick, to do all of us. It happens to everybody. If it hasn't happened to you, it's going to happen to you. No one's 100%. Think about baseball. You bat 300, you get 3 out of 10 hits, or 3 out of 10 hits are the equivalent of that, that's 7 out of 10 times you're not getting on base. You're still a very good hitter. You're hitting 300 because baseball's hard. Trading is hard. It's not about winning every single time. It's about making do with those wins. Just like, with baseball, it's about making do with those hits that you get. If you're getting on first base and then just getting out at second base every time because you don't know how to run the bases or whatever, it's no good for you. But I'm not going to go too hard into baseball analogies. If you ride, you will fall. Cat Williams. Yep. At least wear knee pads. That's the stop losses right there. So everyone has these losses. Everyone has these setbacks. It's how we cope with these setbacks that can significantly impact our long-term success in the markets. So some examples of positive coping strategies include acceptance and reflection. So this means acknowledging the loss, accepting it as part of the trading process, and taking time to reflect on what went wrong. This means using the loss as an opportunity for learning and growth. In order to do this, we need to, as traders, practice humility and self-awareness. So last week, we went over some exercises that we can do to practice self-awareness, such as the senses exercise or the steps exercise. If you haven't already, you can check out those classes. By practicing self-awareness using strategy we learned last week, we can be better prepared to reflect on our losses and really pinpoint what emotions we were feeling before, during, and after the trade. Once again, that's just all about we talked about this last week. It's all about just practicing being self-aware. You can close your eyes and just be aware of your breath, be aware of each body part, all of your senses, whatever. I know it sounds silly, but in theory, just like a baseball player practices running back and forth, and it's the same. It helps them in the long run. Just like or a soccer player running back and running a mile is going to help them in the game, even though you're not running a mile in a game. It's just, it's the same deal. We want to, as traders, if we wanted to worry about our trading psychology, we have to practice. And, that doesn't mean just like, practicing, how do you think just how do you practice your mind? Well, it's with these kind of exercises and techniques. And if you want to get good at being able to self-reflect, well, then some ways to practice that is to have self-awareness exercises, like all that kind of stuff. Just so you can really just pinpoint what emotions you're feeling at the time, and then, make ideally some patterns, off of that. Neck guard. Seeking support after a loss is another positive coping strategy. You can reach out to fellow members, friends, coaches, Nikki, myself, one of the guides, once again, another member. It could be Duco, Stickman, someone who's been here for a while, or just any, one of the guides, once again, just for support and guidance. You can share experiences and perspectives. This can really provide valuable insights and emotional support during difficult times. Sometimes it's nice to hear that others are going through the same things or went through them in the past, in their trading journey. That's why we have our Rosebud Thorn exercise run by Nikki after this class. I know a lot of us are going to hate to hear this, but physical activity is another great coping skill. Going for a jog or a walk in the woods, doing yoga, lifting weights, or other physical activities can be a great way to release pent-up stress from a loss, as opposed to letting that pent-up stress end up causing you to try to force a trade outside of your plan to try to make the money back, or just because you're upset. That's emotional trading, and usually trading outside the plan could lead to more losses, especially if it's an emotional driven trade. Oh man, but my couch says Stickman. I hear that, Stickman. That's like one of the benefits of trading is you don't have to like be running around. Like at least for me, I used to work in the hospitality industry, so there's a lot of running around back and forth. And so for me, that's one of the nice things about trading is not having to do that. And so now I'm hearing myself talk about having to do physical activity to become a better trader. It's like, dang, that's not fair. But I got a buddy. I'm actually gonna look into it and see if it's legit. But apparently, they have some crypto companies out there that pay you to take steps. I think it's like ad oriented or whatever. I'm gonna look into it. I'm just legit. I'll let you all know so that we can, at the very least, get paid to help our physical activity and trading psychology levels go up. That's the goal. Yeah, Stick Man. I think it's called Sweat something. My buddy Kate, I think, was doing like promotions with them or something. I want to ask him like an inside scoop. Maintaining perspective is another really important coping strategy. This just means reminding yourself that losses are a natural part of trading and doesn't define you as a trader. You can focus on the positive aspects of your trading journey so far, during the hard times, such as lessons learned, progress made, or personal growth achieved. So just think of all the good things that you've done, in your trading journey, whether it's, you became an alumni, you completed the Actually, let me drop this link here too, by the way. For those of you who are not alumni, make sure to check out these courses. For those of you who are premium, it's the Trading 301 course. I believe it is 14 classes with a few bonus classes at the end. Once you're done, you take the test, make a support ticket under university, and then we get you hooked up with your alumni role and a little badge as well. Yeah, no, it could be little things, it could be things like that, like there's just like little things like, taking one course, I completed, the first course of trading psychology, trading 101. It could be completing, the whole course, becoming an alumni. It could be, a certain win that you got. It could just be that, hey, I follow my plan that one day, whatever it might be, just, maintain perspective, be positive. You can keep a journal where you have all this positive affirmations or whatever you want to call them written down to look at and remind yourself of your progress, after a tough loss. Cultivating gratitude is a great positive way to cope with loss, as it can help shift your mindset and ideally stop you from making an emotional trade in response to the loss. It's all just, all these different coping strategies, just about getting you out of that mindset of the loss and not letting yourself let the loss define your next trade, or just, even just yourself, or especially it doesn't let you quit. And that's the worst. The worst thing is it makes you quit, and then you're done. And of course, the second worst thing is maybe even the worst thing is it makes you do a terrible trade, lose all your money, and then quit. Second thing would be just quitting in general. But of course, revenge trading, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is number 3 on that list. Some negative coping strategies include, and so you can say in the chat if you're willing to say if you've done any of these. Denial and avoidance. I have personally had this happen before. This is just denying or minimizing the impact of losses, which can lead to avoidance behavior, such as ignoring risk, management rules, or refusing to review trades. You know how they say for some people, if you let your room get messy, then you can start falling out of a healthy routine or get into bad habits. Well, in the same way, for some traders, when they start having losses pile up, they see that portfolio going this red, they might get a negative mindset and just not care as much about risk management or stop losses, or just losses in general. It's important to try to avoid denial and avoidance as a coping mechanism, because it can really be a slippery slope where, it might just be one loss. You're like, whatever, what's another 20% loss, or what's another 30% loss, whatever, who cares? But then you do that again and again. And next thing you know, you have no money left in your portfolio, and then you quit. And once again, that's just what we're trying to have everyone avoid here. And it's not about spending money. You could paper trade and take all the free courses and all the free material out there on YouTube, for 3 years. You don't have to spend a dime, and you can still learn how to trade. It's not about spending money in the market. It's about spending time in the market. But of course, just like with all things, if you ideally spend money in the right places, it's going to make your life a lot easier and make that time a lot shorter. Just, like whether you go to a nicer college versus a not nicer college or whatever. It is what it is. Unfortunately, it's just how life is. Another negative coping mechanism is blaming external factors. This is another negative coping, strategy or mechanism. This means externalizing blame onto market conditions, social media, news events, or just other traders. This might provide temporary relief to one's ego, but it prevents taking responsibility for our actions, and honestly, it prevents us from learning from our mistakes. If we're blaming other people and just other things, we're not going to be able to really take accountability and learn from it. So remember, the goal is to learn from these mistakes, is not to not have mistakes, is to learn from the mistakes. And these negative coping mechanisms keeps us from doing that. Self-blame is another negative coping mechanism. When you lose on a trade, just don't be too hard on yourself. Berating oneself could lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and just low self-esteem in general. That can linger onto your next trade and the trade after that and the trade after that. You don't want these negative things to linger. You had a bad trade. You don't want to let that bad trade affect your next couple trades. This is not ideal for traders. So self-blame reinforces negative thought patterns, and it hinders productive learning and growth. And as traders, we're all about self-growth, especially here at Penny Boys. So, just keep that in mind. When you're feeling hard on yourself or feeling negative on yourself, think about how that might affect your next trade. Even if it's, even if it's hard to, start, having positive affirmations, looking at that notebook and see all the, look back at all the, the good things that you've done in your trading journey. It might be easier just to, have that self-blame and, negativity, but I'll just, and see, there you go, Tech. Yeah, exactly. But it's, as traders, we're all about self-growth, and in order to grow, we need to learn from mistakes. In order to learn from mistakes, we need to really, be able to learn from them. We can't do that if we're in a negative mindset. Reckless behavior and overcompensations are also things to watch out for. Some traders react to losses impulsively by taking huge risks or increasing their trade size or frequency to try to regain the losses. This is emotional trading, and as we all know, this typically leads to more losses. So, if you're looking to work on your coping skills, you can start by practicing self compassion, working on developing a growth mindset, and just focusing on adapting to adversity and losses rather than being defeated by them or even letting them define you. Learn techniques for managing emotions during trading, such as deep breathing, mindfulness, or even cognitive reframing. These are all things that we've gone over the past, I believe it's 8 trading psychology live sessions, which, by the way, I haven't done it yet, but I will be making edited PBU style for those, who've seen the other versions of our classes. They'll be, edited, pre-recorded PBU style, like 10 to 15-minute video versions of all these trading psychology classes with handouts, and they'll be available most likely to our premium members in the future. Maybe to everyone. I'll see what everyone says. But yeah, that is on my list. Is once I'm done with these, is to turn them all into quicker, digestible courses. All the deep breathing. I'm nearly passed myself out this week, Charlie. Yeah, with AMC and GameStop, every time I halt, just to do some deep breathing exercises. You're gonna start seeing blue if you do that this week. With all the market manipulation. I mean the halts at play. Learning from mistakes and setbacks is essential for growth and for improvement as a trader. We can do this by analyzing and reviewing trade data, which is our own trade data, meaning our entries and exit points, our own risk management decisions, and just the market conditions and emotional conditions that we personally were in. This means taking notes of our trades, the market, and our mindsets every day. Good things don't come to people who don't put effort into it. And unfortunately, one big part of the effort that has to go into trading, it's not just learning about the charts and the fundamentals and practicing the charts and practicing the balance sheets and all that. It's also keeping track of your trades and really taking trading psychology seriously. And the biggest part of that is trade journaling. Identifying patterns, trends, and areas for your own improvement. I'm not talking about like candle patterns or like double bottoms or whatever. I'm talking about patterns in your personal trading journey. Whether it's the past 5 losses, I was feeling XYZ. Maybe the last 5 losses, the last five big losses that went past my stop loss. It turns out that the trade before that, I ended up not following my plan and I let my emotions flow, whatever it might be. It could be, hey, it was during pre-market the last 5, whatever it is. It's all about just finding different patterns, different trends, and then realizing, oh, this is what happened the past 10 times I lost a trade. Well, let's see what happens if I stop doing that one, constant in there. It's just like a science experiment. You want to see what all the constants and variables are and then figure out, what works and what doesn't for your plan. In order to do that, you need to take notes, just like with science. You can't just put a bunch of stuff into a tube and swirl it around a whole bunch of times over and over again, and eventually say, "Hey, this is the one," and not know what's actually in it. That's not going to really help you, so you can't remake it. The whole point of trading is to be able to do it over and over and over again. Maintaining a trading journal to document trades, emotions, and observations is super important. Every trader should have one. I want to get a PB branded one on the merch website, like sooner than later, that we can start giving away during our trivia nights, by the way. Which, by the way, is coming up soon here tonight after our Rosebud Thorn exercise, where we play some fun games and give us some merch and memberships. Today's going to be a little spin on this, though. We have some meme coin stuff going on tonight. What time is that? Okay, we're going on time. 3 key steps towards developing a learning plan includes identifying patterns. This means looking for reoccurring patterns or themes from past mistakes and setbacks for you yourself as a trader. The whole goal is just to isolate specific areas for improvement, such as risk management, trade execution, or just emotional control. Seeing where is it that I am struggling? Is it keeping my emotions in play? Is it sticking to my risk management play or sticking to my risk management plan? Is it the charts? Am I looking at the wrong support and resistance? You have to find what the setback is so you can fix it or manage it. Establish clear and achievable goals for skill development and performance improvement, so you can break down large goals into smaller, more actionable steps and just track progress over time. It's always good just to have goals and just small little steps you can take so you can actively see how you are progressing as a trader. Because once again, it's really easy to get hard on yourself after big losses. But if you have goals and goals that are achievable, and even smaller goals off of those bigger goals, then you can really show yourself, like, you're kind of like your roadmap. Like, this is what I've been doing. I know, like, with a lot of Web3 or crypto projects, they have their roadmap, and something bad might happen, 3 years down the line, but they can look back and be like, oh, this is what we did. Like, this is good. This is still okay. So, in the same sense, we can do that as well, with our journals and, our own roadmap. And actively seek feedback just from peers and coaches, whether it's, Duco to CAC, other members, whether it's guides, like the dude, or even staff members like Nikki, myself, or analysts, coaches like Jay and Bull, Pookie's Austin, and Ethan and Lee. Just anyone. It's always good to have constructive feedback in your trading plan, and just be able to adjust your strategies accordingly. Sometimes the key, that missing key that people might be missing for a while, to a successful trading plan is just getting some outside perspective. So CAC has it. Yep, exactly. That's the theme of, and we're coming to a close here. So Nikki, Nikki, you still driving, by the way? You can let me know whenever, but I can talk forever until you're ready to do the Rosebud Thorn. But yeah, that's a yes, it's Charlie.
I'm ready when you are, Deco.
Okay, good, cool.
I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. Yeah, we're getting to the end here, but no, Takak is right, and that's honestly the theme of these trading psychology courses or lessons, or whatever you want to call them, these live classes that we do every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Is just keep swimming. That's the theme. It's just stay in the market, to stay alive. It's even if you've been doing it for a year, it might be year 2 or 3 that you really have that moment where you find that strategy that works for you. And that past year of losses or 2 years of learning or whatever, that right now might seem really daunting, that was necessary to get you to where, your future self is going to be, that successful future self. You needed all these past months and years, or whatever long it may be, of learning and just and losses and wins and staying even and this, that, whatever, not getting to that point where you wanted to be. You needed all that in order to get to where you eventually will be. So speaking of feedback from peers and coaches, we're now going to transition into our Rosebud Thorn exercise led by Nikki, who is a psychology major and trader. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording so we can do that. And we're going to be following that with our trading trivia stream with prizes. For those of you who are watching the recording, I hope to see you here live next week. We do these every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And our Rosebud Thorn exercise is for our Discord live listeners only. Same with the trading trivia. So make sure to tune in live next week. I hope to see you there. But as always, until then, I hope that you all make some bread.